I recently did a review on this unit, MP3 player for the car. Comes with a little remote and a jumper. Chinese made stuff. They're very fragile, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because they do what I want them to do. It has a, it's a modulator, stereo modulator, but it also has an MP3 SD card reader, or you can plug in a memory stick. So it really does what I need it to do for a car, but I only get a few months out of these between failures. I have quite a collection of them built up if you watch my other video, and this is the new one that just died on me after only about a month of use. So I tried to go upscale a little bit, and I bought two at once just to see how they do. I started, prowling around looking for units that would do the same function, but maybe cost a little more, hopefully have a little better quality to them. So I bought two different ones that are more expensive. This one is like $20. I looked at it now online and it's higher, but I found it for like 19 bucks, $19.95 or something like that. This is what it looks like. I still need to peel the film off, I might as well. So it's a nice looking unit. What's nice is the display is so much bigger. I can actually see this, whereas the other one, the display I never even bothered to have with an eye shot because it's too small to really make out. This one you can see quite well. Also on the remote you have navigation for folders. Instead of just putting all the files in with a number, regardless whether they're in a folder or not, you can actually go folder to folder with this unit. And likewise with the, that was the IQ sound actually I was showing you. So I got the two wrong here. Like I said, this one I paid about 20 bucks for. So it's going for higher right now. The better one, I paid almost 40 bucks for this one, $39.99 or whatever. And it has the ability to go through folders on the remote there, but it also has a bookmark function, which once I learn how to use, that's going to be worth the money, I guess, to pay extra. The other thing I noticed is the card doesn't hang outside the unit. All these other ones, the card hangs out. This is the first one I've seen where the card actually goes inside the unit and doesn't hang out. It's like a camera, where you push in and it pops out. So that's kind of cool because it's going to be less breakage. And you got folders and you got bookmarks. And here's the Saatchi Sound-Fly powered up. On the negatives, it doesn't light up as evenly as the other units do. You can see it's kind of bright at the top here where the illumination is. And it's strictly monochrome. The other one's got a false band of color on one little thing. But you can read it quite nicely. The other thing odd about the Saatchi Sound-Fly, it's kind of a disadvantage, is it only starts, as far as selecting an agile frequency on the FM band, it only starts at 88.1, whereas the other ones start at, in the 90s, rather the 87s, like 87.5 up or 87.3 up, which is nice because those bands aren't used very often. So using a band down there, oops, there goes my power. Using a band down there usually gets you freer from interference. And here's the IQ Sound 207. Nice big display. Again, the card sticks out the side, which is a drawback. And it scrolls so slow it's kind of hard to read. Well, a little more of my MP3 player assortment here. few cheapies, which I've stopped buying. They just not reliable enough. The MP4 player, which, God, if this thing worked, it'd be just a treat. But it only works for about 20 minutes and starts motorboating. The IQ Sound IQ-207. I've used this for over a week, pretty heavily. It's been fine. As you can see from the remote, it allows you to navigate by folders, folder plus, folder minus. Also track number, like this monster does. The Sound-Fly doesn't have the numbers, but it has folders. Folder up, folder down. Yeah, little folder icons on them. But it has bookmark feature, and the bookmark does work. I need to read the instructions and learn how to use this unit correctly. The IQ also has instructions, but they're very thin. There's not much really to know about it. The other thing I didn't point out is you've actually got an auxiliary out as well as an auxiliary in. Well, input and auxiliary out. So if you had a car with an audio input jack, you could use this for power and MP3 and not even use the FM part of it. But you know, this is the most expensive of the ones I've bought. Like I said, I really like this the way the card, you know, goes all the way inside the unit, so it's free of destruction. There is one major problem with this guy, though, is it only goes down to 88.1 megahertz. You don't have any coverage like most of them. This one here goes down, the IQ Sound goes down to 87.5, which is pretty typical of these. I'm kind of surprised this one only goes to 88.1. It's a real advantage to have that low end. Usually I use 87.9 on most of my units because it's free of most stations, just about anywhere I go. On my long trip to Indiana at 87.9, I get a little bit of interference when using these weaker ones here. Right around Coopersville in Michigan and a little bit in Fort Wayne. That's it. Otherwise, it's interference free. The problem with this guy is you can't get away from the broadcasters. So you can pick a frequency good for an area, but if you're traveling distance, you're going to be looking for different channels to use. That's a serious shortcoming of this guy. And what's odd about that is the manual says 87.6 to 107.9, but using the remote and the unit here, I can't get it below 88.1. See, 107. Oops. I can see this 88.1. I can't get any lower than that. So the manual says you can, but I can't. That's interesting. It would really be nice to get down below 88.1. I've got a religious station right at 88.1 at one place where I live. It's not an uncommon frequency to be used.